All right, so on to the Excel activity. We'll take a little example. This one is where the food and beverage director at the university, or you're called into the food and beverage director's office at the University of Colorado. The athletic director wants to increase efficiency in the concession stand and has provided you with data from the first 5 games. I think gives first 5 games. We're trying to figure out our cost of goods sold, what's our gross profit, and what should our par value be for each. So here's our data, and what we're going to do to really move forward with this is we are going to highlight all of our data, copy it, and let's go to another sheet because it has questions on it, and we'll paste. So Olivia, since you're on here, if we had to figure out our total sales, I'm going to put COGS, which is cost of goods sold, and then our gross profit. How would I figure out my sales?
The cost. What's the sell price?
That's how much we sold it for.
Okay.
So if I sold a hot dog, it was for $5.50. So what would my equation look like? If I had to put an equation in.
Oh, okay, wait. Because I was like confused. It's like what like the C column and D column were. But like I get it's like inventory like before the game and after the game, right?
Yep. So beginning inventory, before the game, we take our beginning inventory that's inside the concession stand.
So when we want to subtract the beginning versus the end, and then multiply it by the sell price.
Yeah. So if I was put in the equation, what would I do? How would I do that?
C2, well, in parentheses, I guess.
Yep. So we got
C2 minus D2, and then close that parentheses, times F2.
So there's total sales. Now, cool part about this, we take this, as long as we have the black cross over it, and we drag it down. And there's our sales. There's total sales. Now, if we had to figure out cost of goods sold, what would we do? Or what is cost of goods sold? Can you tell me that? So cost of goods sold.
I feel like it's the same thing, like for like total sales, except instead of multiplying by sell price, multiply by cost.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. It literally says the thing, cost of goods sold. Because nothing is ever free. So everything that we sell inside a concession stand, inside a store, even at the university here, everything has a cost to it, right? The class, to put on a class, we're making money from students paying it, but yet there's still a cost associated with the class, and my salary, electricity, space, different things. So we would do the same thing. It would be C2 minus D2 times E2. Oh, not that one, too. So there's our cost of goods sold. And now how would I figure out my gross profit?
I know it has to do with total sales and the COGS, but
Okay. So with those two, would it make sense to multiply them together? We got four math functions. We got addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division.
mhm.
Which two could we cross off immediately?
I mean, add and subtract.
Why?
No, I don't know.
So if we have our total sales, and what's COG stand for again?
Cost of goods sold.
Sold.
So is it subtraction?
Yeah. So it's H2 minus I2. There's our gross profit. That tells us how much we made. So let's take this now and bring that down. Now, let's take this one more. Total per game. So with this one, if I said, so how much money did we make in the game? So it would just be equals J2 through J5. That wasn't what I wanted. Hold that thought. That was a bad equation. See, I'm not perfect. Equals J2 plus J3 plus J4 plus J5. So that's how much money we made. Now, if we take this equation, copy it, bring it down here to J6, and hit paste, how do those numbers change?
Mm,
The numbers change. See that? I copied the formula, and we came down here. Well, the numbers are different. How'd that happen?
I sold more game two.
No, the equation actually changed on its own.
Oh,
See that? It changed. So what Excel does and what Excel knows is if I just added these four down and I come down here and I put it in next to this one, it's going to add up the four cells that are next to it. Excel is a smart cookie. So we do that, adds together, adds together, adds together, total money, right? And we could actually, if we wanted to, take this another step further, and you could figure out which of these items was the biggest contributor to this, right? How would we do that? I'm not going to do it, but how would you do it?
okay. Well, to do that, you added all like the J columns. So like, I feel like it would just be whichever one, like in the gross profit, like
Mhm.
whichever one's the highest.
Yeah, so actually what we can do, well, yeah, logically, that's right. But if I said what percent does hamburgers make up of our total sales? How would you figure that out?
Total per game divided by the hamburger gross profit.
So J2 divided by K2 equals that. So then we just take this and we bring it down. What happened there? Why do we get a Devo? Oh, I know why. Excel is a fickle little machine at times. So we go J3 divided by, oops, K2. So that we can see there that hamburgers made up 46% of our sales. So we can figure that out, okay? Now we continue that forward. We'll leave that go. Now, the big question is, how do we know our sales, right? Or not sales, but our par values. So we have to restock concession stands after every game. So we have to be able to predict what? What do we need to be able to predict?
How much we're gonna sell in a game?
Is it how much you're going to sell or how much items you have in the stand?
Items you already have.
Items you already have, right? So let's come up here to data. And what are we going to use again?
The data analysis thing.
Data analysis. And hopefully it decides to think and work. Okay, so we're going to use regression. And okay. And then our input. So one thing we got to remember is the y-axis is kind of what we are, that's our independent variable in this case. What it's going to depend on what the x variable does, but that's what we're trying to predict fully, okay? So what we're looking for in this one is actually our ending inventory, okay? So actually, we need to do something real quick. Hold on. We'll come back to this. What we have to do is now we have this. Let's copy and paste this again to a new group, new sheet. So now we're there. Now, what we have to do is sort it by, there we go, sort, and we need to sort it by items. All right, so we're going to sort by item. Now that we sorted by item, because we don't want to know if the ending inventory could be off because different things sell at different paces, right? So what we want to know, let's do an ending inventory and let's do our data analysis, regression. We're going to do ending inventory for cheesesteaks. Okay. We're going to bring that down. Then we're going to do our ending inventory for, well, we're going to do attendance. Labels and go. All right, so what this predicts, as we look at it. So this actually is a really good predictor of how much cheesesteaks we have. Attendance is a really good predictor for us. And we can predict that for each increase in one person in attendance, our ending inventory increases by 0.03 people, 0.03 cheesesteaks. So if I have, I don't know, let's just say 2,400 people times B 18, oops.
Equal.
So I can predict my ending inventory needs to be around 87, right? So then we can set up some sort of par value based off that of where we will probably be, right? Based off demand. Now we can do another one, come back here. We don't want to overstock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go to regression again, but instead of ending,
Beginning.
let's do beginning. And let's hit OK. So for this one, yet again, another pretty good model. And we know that for every person that's in attendance, we need to have 0.05 cheesesteaks there. So let's just say we're predicting, we look at our attendance count, it's 3,582 people. Oh, crap. Equals times the 18. So we should probably stock the concession stand with 200 cheesesteaks to kind of meet where demand should sit, right? And we can also see that based off the other one where we had 86, that we're probably going to sell somewhere in between 112 cheesesteaks. That's probably where we'll sell, right, that night. So then we can also predict how much we're going to make. So it's just a tool to try and help with that. What I want you guys to do on this sheet is one, figure out the first part, which we already did, but go through and do some analysis of each thing to see where you should be stocking your concession stand at. All right.
Oh.
And that's the Excel activity of the week. So there it is. But you got any questions for me?
No, so you just want us to do like beginning inventory and ending inventory for all the foods.
For each one. Yep. And just you can just create a separate sheet, what you can do, or just put it in a Word document or one of those, and just here's what I believe we should be at for you to make sure we have it stocked up. All right. So, but